Trusting yourself, trusting your intuition. You are somebody who is quite empathic and you have a strong intuition. And maybe you listen to it most of the time. Though, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're not listening to yourself and there's this kind of repeat? And it could be like maybe once every few years, or it could be more often than that, where you're not listening to that gnawing thing in your gut, knowing. Yesterday, I don't live in New York City. I live outside of the city. I live in a beautiful forest. It's just stunning where I am. It's very low key. There's no 5G. It's like low frequency vibes here in terms of the onslaught one experiences when they step into New York City. And yesterday, I had the honor of being invited to a really beautiful event and gathering of amazing humans in New York City. And it was downtown in like Soho and then Tribeca, downtown Tribeca. So if you don't know New York City, Tribeca is basically, if you're in Tribeca when 9/11 happened, you were in it, that's where I was. And Tribeca it's near City Hall. Obviously that was 22 years ago or 21 years ago. So snap to today, it is a place where there is, it's the financial district. It's like the financial center of the universe of New York. And well, there's plenty of centers in New York. You've got Midtown Manhattan, you've got downtown, Midtown East, Midtown West, downtown. Downtown, it's like the middle of like the armpit, let's just call it the armpit of New York City. And some people think it's beautiful. There's amazing restaurants and yay, there's City Hall and the Supreme Court is downtown. The Fed, the federal buildings are downtown. You've got the Federal Reserve is downtown, courts, and it's an intense place. There's a lot of business activity. And there's also like lots of these things sticking out of the ground, spewing steam, that it's like spewing steam that's coming from the subway underground. And so you're walking down the street and it's just like, oh my God, like you're walking through plumes of the smoke, like that's just detoxing from the center of the, from the underbelly of the beast, basically. You don't want to breathe that. You don't. But I'm walking by and I'm like, why is nobody flinching? Like, why is this not a big deal? And of course, if it's the day before garbage day, when you're in New York City, no matter what neighborhood, it could be like the highest end neighborhood in the planet, you've got mounds and mounds of garbage. Look, New York is great. I'm not knocking it. But for me, it ain't. It's not my place. And I know that. And I hadn't been downtown in years, actually, especially since COVID happened. Like I just stayed away from the city. And now I went to this event and I drove my car into the city. Bad girl, right? Some people might say, but no, I can't do public transportation because they spray things and it's fumes and I can't. I get nauseous and sick and it just doesn't work for me. So I drove into the city and I didn't plan on parking and I kind of made a mistake and I ended up not really getting to the thing that I was going to. And so I stayed in my car and I was like, should I just leave? There was a dinner happening later that night. And I was like, I'm here. I can't leave for the dinner. But I was the whole point of this about listening to yourself is I was sitting in the car for about an hour. Now, I didn't have my computer. I didn't have things I could work on. I'm sitting in the car. I didn't want to be on my phone. It was all like the 5G thing was fully on and I don't have that where I live. So I was just not feeling good. I was like, why am I here? There's too much going on. I'm sitting on a beautiful cobblestone street in Tribeca. So it was peaceful. It was fine. I was deciding maybe I should just go home now. And I stayed and I stayed and I ended up going over to the restaurant and walking there was rather hard. It was a far walk, like 15 minutes. And lots of toxic things just blowing in my face, lots of smokers on the street, lots of just feeling very uncomfortable. It's like not good air downtown and it never was. And it's still not. And so I'm walking fast to get to this restaurant. And I get there and it's early. And I'm like, what do I do? You know what? I'm going home. And I go back to my car. I start walking to my car and I was like, I can't go home. So I was having this whole rumination job go on because something in my gut just did not want to be there. And I could have listened and gone home like 3 hours earlier. I felt strongly in my gut to go. I wanted to go when I left my house. And so I'm walking from my car, I'm walking back. I'm going to go back. So it's starting in 5 minutes. Let me just go. So I start walking back. And this is rated close your ears if you don't feel sensitive right now. I saw someone die. I saw someone die right in front of me on the street. And I was like, a whole lot, all the feels, right? This is not the first time I saw this, someone die. This is not the second time or third or fourth or fifth time. This is a journey that I'm on, and this is my experience. And I said, someone was trying to give her mouth to mouth who was with her. And I said, let me call 911. And they said, we did already, they're coming. And there was like this traffic cop who was there. And it was like already, there wasn't many people there at all. But this woman is dying. Literally, she was, I can see her soul rising from her body, leaving her body. It was already gone from her body, but she was still in some kind of physical experience. And I started walking away because, I won't tell you why, but I started walking away. And then I stopped and I was like, oh. And there's nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do to save or help or anything the situation. So I go back and I just stood there and I called in my guides and I called into, I was just connecting with her soul and holding space. And I knew that that's why I was there. That's why I stayed in the city. Her soul, my soul, whatever the role was in that moment as a doula, as for holding space in those transitions. That's been my role for a good part of my many decades. And from the time I was very, 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 very young, like before I was even 2 years old, I knew that that was part of my role. I never understood it when I was 2 years old or 5 or 7 or 10 or 18 or 20 or 30. By 40s, I'm starting to get it. I got it. I had it. Though I didn't, and for the last few weeks, I was expecting something. I was shown something. So, and I had even said to a friend, I'm going to see something. I know, because I know. And yet still I've denied it. And still I like struggle with my, instead of just surrendering and being like, I'm here. There's a reason why I'm here. Get out of the car, go meet life on its terms right now. Explore, be of service. My soul is here for service. The medicine today is about that. It is around, do you listen to yourself? Do you surrender when this another part of yourself arguing with your one part of yourself to say stop and surrender? Your soul has more than a linear role here. You have more than a linear job, more than a linear title. I ended up going to the dinner. I walked in. I told the first person I saw, I just saw someone die. And, this is like an impact event. So you're talking about people who are, conscious and, or at least care about the earth and the world and humans. And I felt that I know how I show up. If you can't hold that kind of information, when someone is coming, we are all coming into this experience with where we're at, with what we're experiencing. And if we can't hold space for each other, she was beautiful and brilliant. So she held it beautifully, as I would have, like she was fully present and listening and with me, like, oh my God, you just experienced that. Because, if you live in New York City, she wasn't from New York City, but that's how life used to be all the time when I lived in New York City. You're like always experiencing something on the street. And if you just got to show up like nothing, and we don't want to hear your story outside the street, you're here for a certain reason, show up at work and do your job. Like we are all having so many experiences in this lifetime every day, especially when you're in a city environment, when you're coming in contact with so many people and things and experiences. New York for me, and we all have our own role here and our own perception. Maybe like nobody else saw that. Some people saw, but maybe others just didn't. They walked by, they drove by, they didn't get to see that. That wasn't their role. That wasn't their time, their thing. I have had so many experiences like that in New York City. That's why I left New York City when I did. And so this is medicine is around knowing what our larger role is and allowing ourselves to merge and like really intersect even more, integrate even more those voices of, I don't want to be here. I do not want to be here. I want to go home. There's a nudge in my body. There's something that's not, otherwise I would have just left, right? But I kept coming back. I did leave like 3 times and I kept coming back. Why? If that's happening, okay, higher self, I get it. An evolved state is saying, I know why I'm having this internal struggle. I don't know. I don't know what's in front of me, but there's something in front of me. I have to show up for spirit right now. Show up. That is the mastery. I didn't have it yesterday. I swear. I could lie to you, but I didn't. It was quite a different vibe. That is my medicine though. And this is our medicine for us to really go within. And where are you like ruminating on, I should do this, I should do that, to be able to stop and say, why am I here? What is the bigger picture about? If you received anything from this, please let me know what it brought up for you. If you have any insight around these voices for yourself, please let me know what showed up for you. If you are feeling called to have a conversation about this or go deeper into this, I am hosting a workshop called Owning Our Power as Creators. It's called Liberation, Owning Our Power as Creators. And this is going to be in the 3rd week of October. Details are coming soon. We're working on the whole details on the back end. If you would like to learn more about it, get on my email list by going to stephanietraeger.com. A little pop-up thing should happen and you can put your name and email in and you'll get emailed all the details. If you want to know for sure and you want to just message me directly and send me your email, we will add your email to that list for the workshop. So you have information when the page comes out and you can sign up. It is going to be spaces limited because this is a 2.5-hour free workshop, And we're going so deep. I'm not holding back because it's free. This is an experience. I just feel really called at this time to hold the space and invite you all. And if you are resonating with this or you think somebody else needs to hear it, please share. This is important. We are here for more than just what we think. We are here for more than our roles and identity. We are here for more than just what we think is our purpose. Our purpose is still is very human. It's very egocentric. We need to have that thing, and it's not wrong, but it's not the highest purpose. It's not the highest purpose. So come join me. I think the date is October 26th, but check your calendar, October 26th. Put it there just in case. Anyhow, I'm grateful that you're staying here and listening to this. This is a moving. I was deciding, should I tell you all? But yeah, this is who I am, and this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to remind you who you are and what you're here to do. So come join me. Like this, share it, comment what came up for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.